evening, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel. Welcome to the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship Selection Show.
We start in the Midwest region, where the Kansas Jayhawks are the overall #1 seed. This is their fourth #1 seed in the past 5 years. It's been 12 years since the Jayhawks' 2018 championship, and Coach Bill Self will be looking to add another ring in this, his 17th season. They will play the winner of North Carolina Central, the winner of the Mid-East Athletic Conference Tournament, who is making their fourth straight tournament appearance, and the Colonials of Robert Morris, who won the Northeast Athletic Tournament and returned to the Big Dance for the first time since 2015. The 8-9 game in the West features Bobby Hurley's Arizona State Sun Devils, which clock in on the 8th seed. They take on the 9th seed Florida Gators out of the SEC. Both teams finished at 11-7 in conference play. After a disappointing first game loss in the Pac-12 tournament, Arizona State will look to get it going against the Gators. Continuing on with the first team out of the Big Ten, the Wisconsin Badgers. They'll take on East Tennessee State, who last won a tournament game back in 1992. Our second team out of the SEC is the Kentucky Wildcats, in as the 4th seed. After winning both the division and the conference tournament, it's a little surprising to see them as just a #4 seed. They'll take on the Vermont Catamounts, who make the tournament for the second straight year and 3 out of the last 4 years. On the other side of the bracket, we have the Fighting Illini of Illinois as the second Big Ten team to make the tourney. At 13-7 in conference play, Coach Underwood's squad has to be happy to be recognized by the committee. They will take on Cincinnati from the AAC, who were dealt a blow losing an overtime thriller in their first conference tournament game to USF. The Bearcats, too, have to feel relieved to be in this year's field. At the #3 seed, we have the Duke Blue Devils, who have not been below a #2 seed since the 2016 tournament. This is the 25th straight tournament appearance for Coach K's squad, a run that started the same year as the famous Pool of 42. And who will the Dukies face? The Hofstra Pride, the winners of the Colonial Conference. The Pride are making their 5th tournament appearance and first since 2001. At the 7th seed is our third Big Ten team, the Michigan Wolverines. Finishing 9th in the conference, I'm shocked to see them all the way up at #7. They'll face the Utah State Aggies, who returned to the tourney for the first time since 2011, thanks to their Missouri Valley Conference championship. And now for the final 2 teams from the Midwest region. The #2 seed Creighton Blue Jays, who won the Big East regular season, but lost to Villanova in the finals of the conference tournament. This has to be good news for Jay Wright's Wildcats, who are hoping that their conference tourney win made a strong enough case to earn them a #1 seed. Creighton will take on the Belmont Bruins, who are returning to the tournament for the second straight year. The good news for the Bruins is that unlike last year, they will not have to play a first 4 game in Dayton to earn their way in. The bad news is they come in as a 15 seed this year, and 15 seeds have an all-time record of 8-132 in the tournament. Good luck, Bruins. Now we move on to the East region, and with the #1 seed, we indeed have the Villanova Wildcats. It appears that their conference tourney win was just what the committee needed to see to leapfrog them over their brethren from Creighton. They will take on the Winthrop Eagles, who make their 11th tourney appearance out of the Big South Conference. The 8-9 game features the St. Mary's Gales from the West Coast Conference, and the second team out of the Big 12, the Oklahoma Sooners, who will look to improve on their 41-30 overall record in the tournament. Moving on, we have our third SEC team, the Auburn Tigers, taking on Mid-America Conference and tourney winner, the Akron Zips. The Zips are still looking for their first tourney win, and this their 5th appearance. Our #4 seed in the East is the Louisville Cardinals, just our second ACC team in the field so far. Coach Mack is still looking for his first tourney win with the Cardinals since taking over for Rick Pitino in 2018. To do so, his team will have to beat the Liberty Flames, who upset Mississippi State in last year's opening round. The number 6 seed in the East belongs to the Mountaineers of West Virginia. Coach Bob Huggins' squad returns to the field after a disappointing 2019 finish left them out of the big dance. They will face the 11th-seeded Richmond Spiders, who earned their first bid in 9 years. They are the first team out of the Atlantic 10, where they have been overshadowed by the impressive season that the Dayton Flyers have put together. But West Virginia better not get caught looking past this matchup. We return to the Big Ten for our 3rd seed, the Michigan State Spartans, who finished second in a competitive year for the conference. They are set to face the Conference USA regular season and tourney winner, the North Texas Mean Green. This is the Green's 4th ever NCAA bid and first since 2010. The second team out of the Pac-12 is the University of Southern California. This is their first appearance for the Trojans since 2017, and they will face Rutgers, who have finally returned to the field after a 29-year absence. The program is still looking for its first ever tourney win. Rounding out the East region is the number 2 seeded Florida State Seminoles. Seminoles, who are regular season ACC champs, could have been looking at a number 1 seed if not for a so shocking loss to Clemson in the first game of the ACC tournament. As it turns out that the number 2 seed and will face the 15 seed North Dakota State. The Bison won the Summit Conference and will be returning to the field for the 2nd straight year. We're now halfway through this year's field. Heading to the South bracket. At number 1, we have the Dayton Flyers. After finishing undefeated in conference play, the Flyers cruised through the conference tournament, blowing out number 2 seed Richmond by 23 in the final. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Flyers still playing on this year's final weekend. The previous best seed for Dayton was 4 back in 2003 when they lost to the 13th-seeded Tulsa in the opening round. Their run this year will start with a date with Metro Atlantic Conference champion Siena. The South Region 8-9 game features the Marquette Golden Eagles versus the Arizona Wildcats. The Golden Eagles are looking to forget last year's performance when they were upset by 12th-seeded Murray State. Arizona, meanwhile, will be trying to improve upon their 5th-place Pac-12 finish by picking up a tourney win. Our 5th Big Ten team clocks in as the number 5 seed in the South. It's the Ohio State Buckeyes. They will be taking on the pride of the Ivy League, the Yale Bulldogs, which reached the tourney for the 2nd straight year. The Butler Bulldogs returned to the tourney after failing to make the field last year. As the number 4 seed, they will look to recapture some of the magic from their historic back-to-back championship game appearances of 2010 and 2011. They will start with a matchup with 13 seed Little Rock, who won both the regular season and conference title in the Sun Belt. The Tigers will be looking for an upset in this one. The number 6 seed goes to our tournament Jekyll and Hyde, Virginia, who became the first ever number 1 seed to lose to a 16 in 2018, but then followed it up with a national championship the next year. Which Cavalier team will show up this year? They will get the winner of the play-in game between the Connecticut Huskies and Texas Tech Red Raiders. After finishing 6th in the American Athletic Conference, UConn pulled a major upset, winning 4 straight conference tourney games to earn their spot in the field. That win might just spell disappointment for Tulsa and Cincinnati if the committee doesn't feel that there's enough room for 3 AAC teams. Moving on, the number 3 seed goes to our 6th Big Ten team, the Maryland Terrapins. They won the regular season, but had a tough first game in the tournament, losing to Penn State and probably losing them a number 2 seed in the process. As it is, they will play 14th seed UC Santa Barbara, who won the Big West Conference tourney and likely ended the year for UC Irvine in the process. This is the Gauchos' first appearance since 2011. At the 7th seed, we have the Providence Friars, our 6th Big East team. They will face 10th-seeded Mississippi State. The Bulldogs turned some heads with their 32-point win over Florida in the conference tournament. Our final 2 teams in the South region are the Baylor Bears and the Terriers of Boston University. Baylor felt like they had a shot at number 1 seed, but an upset in their first game of the conference tourney and the shadow from conference mate Kansas probably pushed the Bears down to a number 2. BU, meanwhile, is happy just to be in the field, a fact that has not happened since 2011. Our final region is the West. We start with what has become a broken record, as Gonzaga has secured their 3rd number 1 seed in the region in the last 4 years. Last year, they got as far as the Elite 8 before falling to Texas Tech. Mark Few has his eyes set on getting back to the national championship, which he did in 2017. They will get the winner of the play-in game that features 2 conference tourney upsets. Southern, who knocked off heavy favorite Prairie View, and Idaho State, that took home the Big Sky tourney as the number 11 seed. The Idaho State Bengals might just be the biggest Cinderella this tournament has ever seen, finishing dead last in the Big Sky Conference this season, a conference that has produced just 3 wins ever in the NCAA tournament. The 8-9 game will feature the Houston Cougars, the regular season American Athletic Conference champion, and the Colorado Buffaloes, our 4th Pac-12 team. With the 5 seed, we get an impressive 7th Big Ten team and the Nittany Lions of Penn State. Hard to believe it's been 9 years since Penn State made the tournament. They will face Southland Conference tournament winner Sam Houston State. At the 4 seed is our 7th team out of the Big East, the Seton Hall Pirates, who have their best tournament seed since being a 2 seed in 1993. They will play Bradley Braves that captured the Missouri Valley Conference tournament. This is the first time the Braves have gone to the Big Dance in back-to-back years. Moving on to the 6th seed in the West, we have the BYU Cougars, who will face the winner of our final 11th seed play-in game. That will feature Texas Tech, who snags one of the final at-large bids, who will face the surprising Syracuse Orange that shocked the ACC by taking home the conference tourney title. The number 3 seed is our 5th Pac-12 representative, the Oregon Ducks, who won both the regular season and conference titles to earn their 3rd seed. They will face upset-minded Seattle, who captured the WAC conference title and joined Idaho State as one of the 2 teams with a losing regular season record to make this year's tournament. The number 7 seed is our 8th Big Ten team, the Iowa Hawkeyes. They likely secured the at-large bid by making it to the final of the conference tournament. They will face 10 seed North Carolina State out of the ACC. At 7th in the ACC, they were squarely on the bubble, but quality wins against Duke, Pittsburgh, and Virginia probably put them over the hump. And now for the final 2 teams of the 2020 NCAA tournament. First, we have number 2 seed San Diego State. The Aztecs ran away with the Mountain West regular season title, losing just 1 game. The committee did not ding them too much for losing the championship game of their conference tournament to Utah State. The final team, their opponent, is Northern Kentucky, who took home the Horizon League tourney and stole the NCAA berth from regular season champion Wright State. And there you have it, the 2020 NCAA tournament field. Here's a look at the complete bracket that I'm sure everyone will be poring over in detail over the coming days. And now on to more important matters. The Pool of 42, which is in its 25th year and is featuring a never-before-seen digital edition this year. Given the inconvenience of not actually having a tournament this year, the 2020 NCAA tournament will be played in a slightly non-traditional way. Each game will either be simulated text-only games that feature a complete box score and play-by-play, or played out in a computer versus computer simulation on Xbox. The simulated play-by-plays for the text-only games will be displayed one play at a time in case players want to follow along as the action progresses. The Xbox computer games will be broadcast live via YouTube. Each playing day there will be one game selected as the featured Xbox game. In addition, the national semifinals and championship games. Now on to the pool basics. For you experts, this may be old hat, but we have some newbies joining the pool this year who have never before been involved in something quite as insane as this pool. All you have to do is pick 6 teams from the field of 64 whose seed numbers add up to exactly 42, no more, no less. Points will be awarded based on how many points your team scores in each game. At the end of the tournament, the player with the most points and the player with the least points will split the main prize. How do you get points? For each point your team scores, win or lose, you'll receive 1 point. However, if your team scores more than a certain number of points in the game, you'll lose that many points. How do you determine whether your points are positive or negative? The magical threshold that turns your points negative will be based on your AI bonus selection. You'll also select a bonus number. Every time any team in the tournament scores exactly that many points, whether it's one of your 6 teams or not, you'll get 10 bonus points. But the bonus number has to be between 60 and 85. So what's this AI bonus? Given that we've got a simulated set of games this year, we figured why not have an AI bonus as well. So this year you'll select an AI movie theme bonus that will earn extra points. What are your choices? We've got the Big Hero 6 bonus. Receive points for your 6th man and beyond, which is 1 point for every point your bench scores. We've got the Wall-E bonus. Poor Wall-E was left all alone on a planet. Get 1 point each time your team scores from all alone from the free throw line. Robot and Frank. Probably a movie that not too many people have seen, but it featured a robot that was trained to be a cat burglar. Get 2.5 points for each steal your teams have. iRobot, which featured robots that were built to help us in all aspects of our life. Get 1.25 points for each assist your teams have. Terminator, everyone's favorite robot bad guy. A machine is sent back in time to block the future of the human resistance. Get 3.5 points for every block your teams have. Star Wars, a franchise that loves to do things in sets of 3. It's filled with droids of all shapes and sizes. Get 2 points for each 3-point basket made from far, far away. Transformers. Nothing can transform a game like a good rebound. It turns a defensive possession into an offensive possession, or a miss back into points. Get 0.5 points for each rebound your teams have. So just to recap, all you need to provide are 6 teams whose seed numbers add up to exactly 42, a bonus number between 60 and 85, and an AI movie bonus selection. We'll be sending out links for all the games, both text simulation and Xbox games. As always, you can just skip watching the games and wait for my daily email updates. And just a warning, with the virtual nature of these games, I'm sure something unexpected will happen. Please take this for what it is, a momentary distraction from the world around us and an attempt to have a small slice of normalcy during crazy